So I wanted to talk today about the importance of the ancestors and connecting to the ancestors when it comes to shamanic practices. In modern Teutonic shamanism, one of the main goals that we seek to do is to connect with the ancestral teachers of the shamanic Teutonic peoples. Now, shamanism and animism was the original religion of people all over the world. Every single culture, every single ethnicity can trace their origins spiritually back to some form of animism or shamanism. And so, if you really want to connect with the ancestors of whatever culture it is that you wish to connect yourself to, shamanism and animism is a most powerful way to connect with them. Now I want to make it very clear because I'm getting a lot of people, more people, which I'm very grateful for, who are looking into my teachings, the book, the DVDs, the website, the podcast, and some people are subscribing to my YouTube channel, which is great. And every now and then I'll click on the link that YouTube gives you, and I'll see, the channel of the people who are subscribing. I'm very interested to see, who is interested in this kind of stuff. And every now and then, somebody will subscribe, and as I look at their channel, it looks to me as though they have some kind of racial agenda, and they've equated Teutonic, Germanic, ancestral practices to something having to do with racism or racial purity or something like that. And I just want to make it very clear that that is not where I'm coming from. I can't control the way people think. If you have a racial agenda, there's nothing I can do to change that. Nothing I can say is going to change your mind, and I'm not interested in changing your mind. But you should know that I don't follow that. I do not have any kind of racial agenda whatsoever. I have an ancestral agenda. And when it comes to esoteric, energetic, shamanic practices, working with the ancestors is incredibly important. I have been practicing different kinds of shamanic practices from different cultures from all over the world for over 20 years now. And that includes African shamanic drumming, that includes Taoist, esoteric, mysticism, internal martial arts, and that also includes East Indian yogic practices. And in all of those instances, when I was initiated into those spiritual practices, I received an energy connection to those ancestors of that particular teaching. And it had nothing to do with race. The same is true with the Teutonic shamanism that I teach. Anybody who works with me will eventually become initiated energetically to the Teutonic spiritual masters. And the only thing that they're interested in is people who are looking to connect with their shamanic animist roots. And every culture simply takes that truth, that we are all connected, that we all have a spirit, and that everything in this universe has a spirit that can be connected to and communicated with. All peoples have this understanding, and they simply have interpreted it and explained it in ways that fit their language and their region and their culture. It has nothing to do with the superficial looks of people's skin color, eye color, hair color. It has nothing to do with that. So I just want to be very clear that that's what I teach, and that's what I practice. And anybody of any ethnic, cultural, or religious background is more than welcome to come and practice and learn from me at whatever level you want. You're free to take whatever I teach and integrate it into any other cultural or ethnic practice that you choose. As long as you feel you have permission from your ancestors and the ancestors of this tradition, you have my permission to do so as well. When it comes to ancestry, I want to be very clear about something. I consider myself to be very, very conservative, meaning that I want to connect myself all the way back to the first ancestors of the Northern European peoples. And having done some research in that, and also done some shamanic work connecting with them, here's what I've come to find out. My direct ethnic ancestors are the people who came into Europe 50,000 years ago. And around 35 to 40,000 years ago, they started making artistic artifacts. And in fact, the oldest cultural artistic artifacts in the world are found in modern-day Germany and France. And those people that did those cave paintings and created those first flutes and created those first carvings are my ancestors. And I have news for you. They did not look like me. They had just recently come into Europe from East Africa. And it took thousands and thousands of years of those people living in Ice Age conditions before they started to look like I do. So those first ancestors that made those cave paintings and made those first flutes and made those first carvings looked like Africans. They had dark skin, they probably had curly hair, they probably had completely different facial features than I do, but they're my ancestors, my ethnic ancestors. So I want to make it very clear that ancestry has nothing to do with the superficial looks on people's faces or any other aspects of their body. It has to do with the spiritual center of the energy that they transmit, the wisdom that they bring, and the teachings that they provide. And it is my belief that the Hool breath comes directly from those first Europeans of African descent. And so by chanting that, you're tapping into that. Anybody is welcome to practice what I teach and to learn from me, and you're free to have any beliefs that you want. But you should know where I'm coming from if you want to learn from me. I think it's only fair that you know that. Thanks for listening.